Hi YouTube! So I'm here with some of my makeup tutorials that I promised to post for my different cosplays. Again, my cosplay account is Momo.closetcosplays on TikTok. And today we have a special guest here, my little model, Trinity, and the little brother up there, but he's not going to be part of this. We are going to be cosplaying Vox and Velvette from Hazbin today, and we will be giving a tutorial on how to do makeup. We're going to be doing her first so I can better show some of my steps. It's going to be easier to record her as I do the makeup process. Than it is going to be recording me, because obviously I need mirrors and stuff like that to actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first step is, of course, the wig cap. I use two. I use this kind of like fishnet one that to use as a headband with the hole in the top. And then I use this second one that, obviously it depends on your skin color, but I use a tan one and this one doesn't have a hole. It's completely closed off to make sure everything stays in place and then put over top of it. So for today's video, because my sister has her own cosplay account, which I'll put right here, we are going to be using a little bit of her makeup and a little bit of my makeup. We're mostly going to be using her makeup for her base and stuff like that, just so I can kind of teach her how I layer things and how I personally do makeup and I personally do the base. And then we'll be using my makeup for the eyeshadows and all that kind of stuff. The best first step for any makeup is good skin prep. So I am using the Clean Start Prep Step from Milani. It is a hypochlorous acid, and it is a facial mist. We're going to be using this as the skin prep for my little puppet over here. And then we're simply going to pat it in just a little bit. We're not doing a lot of patting. It's mostly pressing it into the skin to make sure it absorbs well. And so the makeup sits nice on top of it. Next, we're going to be using the Revolution Color Correcting Primer. This one is green and neutralizes red tones, and it has niacinamide in it, which is very good for acne. It used to be mine, but I didn't like the way it felt on my skin because me and my sister have very different skin types. I have a little bit more of a dry skin type, which, I'll be honest, this does not necessarily help for, but she has a more, I don't want to say regular, but more normal kind of skin type where it's a little bit oily and a little bit dry in some places, so this works perfect for her. Excuse me. Okay, so I typically take this primer and I sort of put it in a like T-spot like this. Might be using a little bit much. I think I squirted a little bit much on the nose, but it's okay. I've had this primer for a minute now. Trust me, it's not going anywhere. It actually lasts quite a while, and I personally found that the tube has actually filled up quite a bit when I first got it. So, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. It's a good product. I would definitely recommend it. Alright, now with clean hands, I forgot to mention this before, but clean hands are very important. Excuse me. We're going to rub this in and kind of circle in shapes. And we're going to spread this out over her face. Again, I think I used a little bit much on her nose, but trust me, it blends out perfectly. And it sets a very good base for your makeup. I would definitely recommend this for people who have a little bit more of a mixed kind of skin type. Like I said, a little bit dry and a little bit oily in some places. But if you have very dry skin with acne, like I do, I would honestly not recommend this product because I find it gets very dry around my acne and makes it a lot more noticeable. So for foundation, we are going to be using the Makeup Forever HD Skin Foundation. You can get this at Sephora. It was a pretty affordable price. I forget exactly what it was, but I think it was around $30 to $40. But I personally love this foundation very much. It is a good bottle, and it goes a long way. And if you get the right shade, it blends into your skin so perfect, and it barely creases, doesn't dry up or anything like that. It's a very good glowy kind of base, but it also has some pretty good coverage to it. So, something I always recommend for makeup is you squirt about a pump or two on the back of your palm. And then I use one of those very thin foundation brushes to apply a thin, even layer onto the skin, and then I slowly build up. It's better to start with little foundation and add more on top of it than it is to start with a lot of foundation and trying to take away from it. So what I do is I go back and forth a few times with it. Obviously, this is not my shade because me and my sister are very different shades of skin, but I promise this blends out perfectly on her. It blends into her skin so freaking well. Alright. Need you to face the camera just a little bit, just so they can see what I'm doing. So I always put some right here. And on camera, this might not look like my sister's skin tone, but I promise it is. Some of these you will have to trust me with. I tell my sister all the time, trust my madness. My methods for makeup might be a little bit odd to some people, but I mean, I feel like I always do a pretty good job with my makeup. So I think the trusting me is worth it. It's very much trust the process. Would you mind holding this for me? Thank you. And some people use brushes to blend out foundation, but I personally prefer to use beauty blenders instead. I've tried brushes, and it always just makes my makeup so patchy. And I just prefer beauty blenders because I feel like it presses into your skin better. One thing I will say about beauty blenders is you want to fill them with water first, and then squeeze it out. Obviously you don't want your beauty blender to be soaking, but it is a sponge, and you don't want it to soak up all your product either. So when it's full, it's the best. So what we're going to do is just press it in. I think just about everybody knows how to use a beauty blender, but I'll be honest, when I first started, I did not. So for some people, it might be common sense, and then if you're like me, nothing is common sense, so you have to kind of be told everything. Shut up, don't laugh at me.
Hey, I wasn't laughing.
See, like I said, it didn't necessarily look like her shade at first, but look at how beautifully that is blending out into her skin. It's also important to get into the eyelids as well with your foundation, not just with your concealer, because your foundation is your base. The concealer goes on top of it. So the point of the foundation is to even out your skin tone, and you can't really do that if your eyes are a different color. Then another important thing for makeup is to always, always, always blend down your neck. You never want to leave your neck uncovered. Even if you're 99% sure the shade matches well, just blend down your neck. It will save you so much trouble. So I personally just take my foundation brush and I go in streaks with whatever product I have left over from the back of my hand. And then I do the same thing I did on the face, is I go in with a beauty blender and I just blend it out. Just so it makes your makeup look like a whole instead of just a whole bunch of different pieces, you know? Because honestly, I still struggle with it sometimes, forgetting to blend down my neck, and it is just not worth the struggle. Just get in the habit of it, and I promise it makes so much of a difference, especially as somebody with very pale skin whose shade likes to change a lot. So unfortunately, my little sister got this concealer for Christmas, so she has no idea what brand it is. Unfortunately, on the bottle there is literally nothing. But personally, whatever brand this is, you did a really good job because I personally love this concealer to death. Okay, so I'm going to place the concealer on, and then I'm going to give you guys a close-up so you can see my personal concealer placement. I will say it also very much depends on your face shape, because you want to face the camera for me? So I have a little bit more of a rounder, square kind of face. My sister, it might be hard to tell because of the wig cap she has on constricting some of her hairline, but she has a little bit more of an oval face. And also, you know, camera distorts that stuff. But like in person, she has a little bit more of an oval face shape. I have a little bit more of a round, square kind of one. So your concealer, contour, blush placement, that all depends on your face shape, and it also depends on what kind of look you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to go more cutesy, you focus a lot of blush around the apples of your cheeks and your nose. But if you're going for more like a lifted, baddie, snatched kind of look, you're obviously going to place your blush like up here. You're going to be focusing very much on lifting and sculpting your face. So concealer placement matters a lot. As the concealer placement, we focus on the tip of the nose and the bridge of the nose. And then before I say this, no, I am not a Koreaboo. No, I do not want to race change. But I personally like to follow a lot of Asian makeup techniques, along with the highlighting. They're very focused on the inner corners of the eyes. and they're very, very focused on sculpting their kind of faces, and I love it. I love the Doyen, Agari. I know I'm butchering these names, but I personally love those Asian makeup styles, and I feel like their makeup always looks perfect, so I have been using this kind of placement for a while now. Alright, now it's time to blend out. Now, with concealer, blush, and contour, you're mostly going to focus on pressing it into where you put it, because that's why the placement matters so much, because you're not just going to be able to spread it all over your face or wherever you want it. You want to focus it in the places where you put it. So we're focusing the blending with just pressing into the skin where it was. And personally, again, I do not know the brand, unfortunately, but whoever's concealer that is, it is perfect. My little sister has been using it for a while. I use it every time I do her makeup, and it always turns out very well. It doesn't crease, and it blends out beautifully. And it can be pretty high coverage if you want, but it also depends on how much you use. If you only use a little bit, you can get more of a lightweight look with it, but if you use a lot, of course, or even just a normal amount, like the amount I put on her, it can become a lot of full coverage. But if you just put like a dot or something like that, very lightweight, very easy to use. Anyway, look, you can see some of the concealer placement on the inside of the eyes. And again, the foundation looks beautiful and it blends well with every product. And you can see with the concealer placement, I focused on the inner corners of her eyes, the bridge of her nose, and around her lips. Because we're going for kind of a doll-ish kind of look while still looking like a baddie. Because, of course, Velvette is a rather baddie. Now, I did use a different beauty blender for the concealer blending. Sorry. I used this one to blend out the foundation, but I did end up using this one to blend out the concealer. I simply like a lot of these beauty blenders. Personally, I use more of these type of beauty blenders than I do with these ones. I just like the way it presses into my skin and how well these work wet or dry. Alright, next up is liquid blush. Now, this is the shade. It is the Pretty Smart I'm Dreaming liquid blush, shade 47 Inspire. Now, this blush might look a little bit scary because it is rather dark, but I promise it blends out so much lighter and it is beautiful. Now, I did end up putting kind of a thick glob on my hand, but this is how the blush looks sort of blended out. It gets lighter. And I kind of like to focus the blush right around here. We're just doing dots and kind of going upwards. And then I am going to put a little bit on her chin right here. And some on her nose. And I also, you want to close your eyes for me? I also like to put some on the inner corners of the eyes, or outer corners, I apologize. And then I also like to put a little bit right here to help with contour a little bit. And you guys can check my Pinterest. I mentioned this in the last video, but you guys can check my Pinterest, where I have 2 different boards full of makeup placement tips and different eyeshadow looks that I tend to use as inspiration. We are going to go back to the purple beauty blender, and this time we're going to use the bottom round side for the blush, blending out. Look at how well that blended out. You can still see the blush, it's still pigmented, but it blended out so much better, and it looks very intimidating, but I promise it's not, okay? This is the view of the bottle. Okay, contour and highlighter time. So this is the Color Geometry in, I'm not sure what shade this is, but it is the Color Geometry Contour and Highlighter Stick. I personally used to have one of these, but I am a cool tone girly. My sister is a little bit more of a neutral, warm tone, a little bit. So I gave her this stick because I swatched it once and did not really look that good on me. Because, like I said, I'm a cool tone girly. All of my contour has to be gray. Otherwise, it does not look good. And I look like those girls who get the horrible fake tan. I look like a Utah girl if I use this contour too much.
Oh.
No shit. No offense to anyone in Utah, alright? But y'all's tans look awful.
Yo, that's not nice.
Do I care? No. So, I think a lot of people kind of have the same sort of contour placement. We always go on the forehead. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's very messy. Thank you, my little puppet. And we're also, I know you guys can't see it because I have to kind of get in here. You want to turn your face and look at me a little bit? Thank you. And we're also going to kind of focus on the jawline a little bit. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is sort of the placement I use. I think it is also important to admit that with cosplay, it's kind of like stage makeup, where the camera isn't going to pick up everything. So a lot of times when people go on stage for musicals or even concerts or anything like that, their makeup is really, really heavy. And there are certain unblended things and stuff, and it looks really cakey up close because you're meant to be able to see it from the stage, which is at least at typical shows and stuff like that, it's going to be like 40, 50 feet away from you. So you have to be able to see it from a distance. Which is why the makeup tends to be so heavy. Now what I do is for nose contour, we blend into the eyebrows a little bit to make it look a little bit more natural. And we're kind of focusing on her natural nose shape. We're not trying to change it or work it too much. But one thing I will say is if you want your nostrils to look a little bit smaller, I do have a tip for you. Turn your face to the side just a little bit. You're going, I think I showed you with my concealer placement earlier, but we're also going to go in with highlighter. At the very edge of the nose, you want to put some contour in line, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take highlighter and go like right here, and trust me, it's going to make your nose look smaller. And then for here, we're going to try to mimic the button nose, because again, Velvette is very doll inspired, so we're going for a dolly kind of vibe. So, for highlighter placement, for the nose, we're going to focus where that button is, and then we're also going to put a little bit right here at the bridge. She's used to this. She lets me just grab all over her face because she trusts me. Like I said, I say to her all the time to trust my madness. We're focusing on the chin and the top of the lip, and then we're going to put some more highlighter on the inner corners of the eyes. Close your eyes, sorry. And then we focus some more up here. Our highlighter sort of matches our contour placement. And see, we add the highlighter to the outer corner there, and then we blend it out. I promise your nose is going to look just at least a little bit smaller than what it was. That might not be your goal, so maybe you don't have to. And like I said, we're not trying to change her face shape, but it does help a little bit. My model is yawning.
Yo, chillax, homie.
We're gonna have to get Melissa in here to replace you.
Yo. I'm down, homie. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. last night. That's actually a complete lie.
Cut yourself off mid-sentence to tell me what a lie it was.
I only stayed up till like 10. 11. Yeah,
anyway.
That's great, guys.
That wasn't a good burp. I could have done better. Oh, fuck, I broke it. Oh, well. It was mine, you bitch. I bought it. Don't play.
Yo, I use that like every day, homie.
And I'm the one who fucking bought it.
My
so
ghost
you
one
can
is
stop complaining.
My ghost one also broke.
Your ghost? Oh, no.
He's gone.
Well, that fucking sucks for you. I mean, it's okay. All of my beauty blenders are broken as well. Anyway, we should probably blend this out before it gets, like, stuck to your face.
Yeah.
So we're going to be using the other end of this one, the more flat kind of side. Well, I guess it's kind of flat. You know what I mean, though. The not angled side. To blend it out. And then once we get setting powder and stuff on, once we get her baked, we're obviously going to go back in with powdered contour and powdered blush and powdered highlighter. I don't know, powdered highlighter, I guess. Anyway, also your eyebrows are going to have to be black. Well, actually, I might just leave them dark brown. I don't know yet. We'll see. Also, I doubt people still care about this. But I don't want to see anybody in the fucking comments being like, huh, Hazbin Hotel isn't for kids. She's obviously a little kid. You shouldn't dress her up at Hazbin Hotel. Our parents know. They do not give a shit. We literally watched this show with our Nana. Our Christian Nana. Who is like 60. She does not give a fuck.
That's a little harsh there, bud. Nana is not 60.
She's like 58. Close fucking enough. I gotta stop cursing. I'm gonna get taken down.
Yeah. You gotta chill out.
I'm gonna have to put like a beep over all my curse words.
Half the video's gonna be like beeps.
Yeah, I tend to curse a lot. I'm
Dolphin
sorry.
noises, actually.
That's what I get for being a Hazbin fan. Anyway, back to the blending. But yeah, the reason I do not care about her. Can you just close your eyes, girl? Thank you. The reason I also do not care about her being a fan of Hazbin Hotel and Hell of a Boss is because I was younger than her when I watched the pilot for the first time. Okay? Trust me, I was like 6 years old watching Adult Swim, Family Guy, South Park, Archer, all that kind of stuff that I shouldn't have been watching at that age. That's just the way we're raised in the family. Everybody watches that stuff. So, my dad is very big on, I guess not coddling us. He treats us like we're mini adults. He treats us like we're mature and all that stuff. So, So, technically, it's inappropriate. Sorry, I can't focus on my blending technique while talking. He's very big on treating us like we're mature, especially in the shows we watch. So that's also why I don't want to hear anybody complaining about, she's a little kid. I was 9. Actually, I might have been a little bit younger because my birthday is in December. So I was like 9 when the fucking pilot came out. Don't talk to me. I was 14 when the season 1 came out. Yeah, so I would have been like 9 when the pilot came out. Yeah, and I was 10 for the Addict music video. I've been here since the dawn of time, I fear. Turn to the side. Now, one thing I will say about this contour is because we got distracted talking, it is a little bit tricky to blend out if you let it sit for too long, but it's not impossible. You just gotta go over it. And like I said, stage makeup kind of has to be heavy anyway. Same thing goes with cosplays. Because the camera doesn't pick up every little detail. So, we are doing full glam over here. And also, speaking of full glam and high coverage and all that, y'all trust me. You'll see all the acne here. That's gonna be gone. Obviously, I can't get rid of the texture, but the color, gone. You will not be able to look at me and see it. You'll have to, like, get close to see the texture, okay? So, y'all trust me with your high coverage makeup looks. You look so dumb when you turn around. I'll have to show you the video later.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, for the nose contour, personally, I use a brush to blend this out. So I use a brush, and I don't really have a specific blending technique for said brush. It's kind of just rubbing over it. So you want to close your eyes for me? Go back and forth like that. What I use is the brush to make sure we don't get rid of the structure, and then I'll go in with a beauty blender in a little bit to smooth it out a little bit more. Because we don't want to get rid of the placement. I find if you put contour on and then immediately go in with a beauty blender, it is going to take away it a little bit. So we're going with the brush first, and then I just lightly go in with the beauty blender to figure it out a little bit more. Bro, my little brother's over there, and he just whispered, "Toast," to himself.
I heard double stuffed.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know what that was all about. Just confused. Hardcore.
Okay, don't say hardcore double stuff, because you're gonna get a lot of weird people in here.
Yo, what?
My account is already not for kids, but like I don't want to put an age restriction on it.
I said I was confused. Hardcore.
Oh, I didn't hear I was confused. I heard double stuffed, hardcore, and I was like, okay, you're gonna get a lot of weird people in here, babes.
I said I was confused. Hardcore. That's
okay,
great.
Don't say that. I'm so hard right now.
That's great.
Hey, I gotta get in character. I'm gonna be boss.
That's so
okay.
tough.
Then we're gonna go in with the beauty blender to blend out the highlighter. Turn towards the camera. You can see the difference in her nose, right? That's exactly what I was talking about with the highlighter and contour. Alright, here's what the base looks like right now. Turn to the side. Just let me position your head, my little puppet. This is what the base looks like right now. And then now we're going to go in with setting powder. Shrimp Alfredo.
What?
Strawberry cheesecake. So we're using 2 different setting powders. Now we are using the Maybelline New York Lasting Fix Banana Translucent Setting Powder. I like this one a lot, but the reason we're using 2 is because she's running a little bit low on this. And then we also have an Ulta Beauty HD setting powder that we're going to use. The difference is, as much as this one says translucent, it's got a little bit of color to it. This one does not. So we're going to be using this one on places like around her cheeks. And then on places where I set the highlighter, we're going to be using the white powder. Because what color powder you use does make a difference. We see people using pink and purple and stuff. I personally just bounce back and forth between like a light kind of tan and a white. So we got a little bit translucent powder. Stamp it on the back of your hand just to get rid of the excess. And then here, you want to close your eyes for me? And then we focus it on areas where we put the highlighter. So personally, I do focus a lot on the eye. And then we're going to take a little bit more of the translucent setting powder and we're going to put it on places like her nose and her nose bridge. Now we are actually going to let this sit for a little while. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the other powder. And what we're going to do for this one is look for me. Now, I learned this from drag queens, but in order to make your nose look smaller, you can go like that and then let it sit. You want to let it bake, and then we will blend it out. We will blend it out, and I promise her nose is going to be snatched.
Remember when we were at Comic Con with Mommy and she took us to that one drag queen show? So I just made that remembers that.
Yeah, I remember that. That shit was cool, though. I liked it. It was fun. Now we're going to take a brush, get a little bit more setting powder, and we're going to focus it on areas like the cheeks. Now, I'm not really one for baking under your collarbone, or not your collarbones, I'm sorry, your cheekbones. I'm not really one for under that because as much as I like the snatched look, I don't like it under cheekbones. Personally, I found it unflattering, at least on myself, to put emphasis on the cheekbones. So I personally do not do it. And like I mentioned before, I personally do not contour my cheekbones either, because again, I don't like putting emphasis on it. Okay, now we'll be using the Get Gomo Oil Control Banana Powder, and this is a pressed powder that we're going to use. I need that brush. As you can see, it's used a little bit. And we're going to get some on there. And again, we're focusing on the same area. We put the other pressed powder on the cheeks. Not very specific placement, just kind of wide over there to get that matte look. Okay, now it is time for eyebrows. Now, I will try my best, but unfortunately, I don't think you guys are going to be able to get to watch as I do this process because I kind of need to focus. Eyebrows are kind of tricky. Luckily, though, she has pretty thick and pigmented eyebrows. Not a bad thing, by the way. I prefer my eyebrows thin. Some people prefer them thick. For everybody. I personally think thick eyebrows look good.
Tough.
He's giving me a hug. I love you, buddy. We're going to just kind of darken them up. I'm just using this dark brown color from the Estee Lauder Signature Eyeshadow.
What?
Yeah.
That's great.
Here is the back. I'm not sure if you can see it that well. But it says the color names and everything. I personally love this product. As you can see, I've used it a lot. Anyway, now I would use a thinner brush for me because I have thinner eyebrows, but because she has thicker eyebrows, we're going to use a little bit of a thicker brush, but it's still pretty thin, angled, and sharp. We're just going to get some pigment on there. Now I need you to be very, very still.
Walk in.
And we're kind of just going to be darkening up her eyebrows. We're not doing anything in particular. Darkening them, adding emphasis. Okay, now look at that difference. We didn't do anything much. We elongated just a little bit, and we add some definition, darken them just a little bit. That's really all we're aiming to do. Right, now it is time to unblend the nose contour. We're just going in with the same brush we used for the pressed powder and the setting powder earlier. Now, again, I don't know if it'll pick it up on camera, but her nose has a lot more definition to it. It looks a lot more snatched.
Holy.
You okay?
Yeah, it looks different. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, whoa.
Nose contour does that. Okay, now we are going to be going in with a powder blush and powder contour, and we're also going to be adding some highlighter. I saved that. Almost drop it, but I saved it. This is an Ulta Beauty palette. It has 4 different shades in it. It has the matte bronzer, matte nude pink blush, shimmer rose blush, and champagne highlighter. I personally love this palette. When did you get this? Did you get it for Christmas? Yeah. I might be using different brushes when I'm doing my makeup. Like I said, I try to do her makeup, at least when it comes to her base with with all of her makeup rather than using all of mine, so that she can learn how to use her own makeup properly, you know? But as I said before, I actually don't want to use the word properly, because again, I'm not a professional. I learned everything I know on my own. So don't expect me to be giving you makeup tips from somebody who is like a cosmetologist. This is just things I have learned, and personally, I think I always look good. So, well, I always look decent. Sometimes the looks are a little bit questionable. But most of the time, the makeup turns out well. Some of the cosplays may just be a little bit eh. So we're going to be focusing the blush on the same place I put it before. And this is going to be kind of the nude blush. It's a very, you can see the blush, but it's not overwhelming. And then we're going to be using the brush we use for the setting and pressed powder. And we're just going to blend it out a little bit more, not in any specific way, just blending it out just a little bit to give it that more airbrush, natural sort of look. Okay, now we have both her cheeks dusted with blush. Not too noticeable, you can see it, but it's not very overwhelming, it's not super in your face. And then now we're going to be putting blush placement where I put the other bit of blush, so you want to close your eyes for me, model? We're going to put some on your eyelids. And I'll blend that out a little bit more in a minute. And then we're going to put some on your nose. And then we're also going to put some on your chin. And then, again, we take our pressed / setting powder brush to blend it out. Again, not in any specific way. We're not going in any direction. Just sort of blending it out just a little bit, giving it more that airbrush, sort of natural kind of look. I mean, nothing about Velvette is necessarily natural, I'm sure, but we're not hating. Okay. Now, we are using the matte bronzer shade before we used the matte nude pink blush, and now we're going to be using matte bronzer for contour. And yes, I know contour and bronzer are different. I think it just matters on shade-wise, okay? Honestly, a lot of makeup, I've used eyeshadow for contour and filling in my eyebrows and stuff. I don't think necessarily there's really a difference in formulas. I think it's really just a difference in marketing. You know, the same thing with brow gel and hair mascara. They're the same thing, they just have different marketing teams. And also, another thing I want to point out, there's no correct way to do makeup. You can use whatever to do whatever. And another thing, makeup blindness does not exist.
What does it exist?
Makeup blindness. Blindness. Blush blindness, eyebrow blindness, anything like that does not exist. If you look good, you look good. That's just an excuse to make people conform to a different way of doing your makeup. That's literally all it is. Just do whatever the hell makes you happy, and just fucking do it. Don't worry about what anybody else has to say. You think I'd be a cosplayer if I worried about what everybody had to say about me all the time? Hell no. Okay?
You're gonna get canceled if you keep cussing like that.
I think I had my page set up not for kids anyway.
Oh.
But
Whoops.
you are right, I do need to stop cursing, because they might take me down if I do it too much. We're kind of focusing contour in a similar place where we put the liquid, or no, it was cream contour. I always forget there's a difference. Liquid would be like my little like pot right here, and then cream is the stick. I always screw that up. So we already did her chin. Again, just kind of focusing what we did already, just accentuating her jawline. I'm not going in with the cheekbones again. And we're just going to be going over the forehead a little bit to give more definition. So hard to focus where I'm putting the makeup when I'm talking to the camera because everything's mirrored. And then again, our favorite blending brush that has our product on it. A lot of people will use different brushes for different things. I personally like to reuse because I feel like that puts the makeup better blended and it gives more of an airbrushed kind of look. Okay, nose contour. I'm using this brush. I don't really know how to describe it. It's kind of fluffy, but nose contour. Again, same thing with the eyebrows. I have to kind of get in her face for this because it is a very delicate art. So I might not be able to show you exactly how much, but basically we're just going to be following the contours I've already laid out with her cream contour and the blush. I just don't want to screw it up. focusing exactly where I put the contour before, just defining it a little bit more, defining that button nose of hers. And eyebrows, and where it blends, very important. And then bridge of the nose right here. And boom. And then I am going to put a little bit more contour on the bottom of her nose to, again, just make her nose look a tad bit smaller. Because, I mean, everybody wants a small nose nowadays. Some people don't embrace it, some don't. And now we're just going to take this and we're going to blend it out. Like I said, not in any specific way, just kind of following what I did. And then I will show you what the blended product looks like. Okay, now here's what the blended product looks like. Again, we just define the nose. Okay, now for the highlighter, personally, I will be going in with my finger, especially because I have clean hands and we are related, so we share the same DNA anyway. If one of us is sick, the other one's going to get sick anyhow. So I am personally going in with my finger. And we're going to place it in the same places I put the highlighter earlier, focusing on the button nose and the bridge of the nose. And then same thing, close your eyes for me. We're going to be putting it on the inner corner. And see, just a little bit of a subtle highlighter, excuse me, to accentuate the features and define the contour just a little bit more. And also, I just want to give another shout out to my very handy Velvette. She has her own TikTok page. I linked it before, but I'll show it again. Go give her a follow. She does amazing work.
Most of the work being yours.
Well, you are still my favorite little model anyway, so.
I know, I'm amazing.
You are my little model anyhow, so even if I'm the one doing the makeup and putting together the costumes and the wigs, you are still the beauty that comes behind it. It's still your face being used. Okay, finally, we can get into the actual eyeshadow and lips. My sister's fighting with my table.
I swear to God.
The lock does not want to stay, so she keeps fighting with it. She gets really mad because it doesn't want to stay up, so she's been fighting with it the entire time. It's probably going to come down again in like 30 seconds. Okay, so for Velvette's makeup look, because she is such a full glam girly internet icon, we're going to be very hot pink, full glam, all up in your face with the eyeshadow. And of course, we got to do her lips. We're going to do black lipstick, and we got to do the little lines. I'm wondering if that design has any lore significance to her. I'm not sure if it will, but it might. Also, another thing I want to say, as a Velvette cosplayer by myself and dressing her up as Velvette, I am still seeing people dye themselves gray for Velvette, and I think it's crazy, because I feel like it's very easy to tell she's a black woman now. Like, I still think it's crazy that people are painting themselves gray to be Velvette. And I know it's not blackface, but I feel like it's a little bit close to it. Like, I feel like they're getting into dangerous territory with it, because technically you are painting yourself darker to look like a woman of color. So, that's all I'm going to say on the matter. I just think it's a little bit odd. So, for most of this makeup look, forgive me, it's a little bit dirty. It sits in my windowsill. I'm going to be using the Kaleidoscope 42 shade palette. It is by Profusion Cosmetics. I got it at Target for $18, and personally, I think it is very worth it. I love these eyeshadows. I love how pigmented they are. I use them all the time for my different makeup looks, and I think this is definitely worth the buy. I love the glitters, and I love how pigmented the matte eyeshadows are, and they even have some nuder shades while also having plenty of vibrant ones to pick from. So, first step, I'm going to be taking this brush, not a specific shape, just pretty fluffy, and I'm going to be taking a very light, it could come off as tan, but I think it's more towards a shade of white, matte kind of color, and we're going to go in with her eyes and focus on the inner corners again, and then we're going to kind of brush it over most of her eyelid just to give us a little bit of a blank slate to work with. And I know some people are going to be like, well, that defeats the purpose of putting the contour and the blush there earlier. Trust, okay, like I said, trust my madness, and if you don't like it, cut out any steps you want, or just click off the damn video. I don't need your views. Alright, close your eyes. And like I said, we're going to be trying to show you all the steps, but obviously if I can't show you everyone, I do apologize. Because it will be a bit tricky. And like I said, we're focusing in on the corner of the eye. and sort of putting a blank slate over the rest of the eye. And then we're just going to copy this onto the other eye. So the very first color we're going to use is we're going to be using this pink color. This is a glittery pink right here, and I'm going to be using this, and we're sort of going to try to do like a cut crease. I'm not exactly confident in my ability, but basically we're going to be focusing up here and towards the end of the eye, and then like in this corner is going to be like a white. This color looks very intimidating, but I promise it is not nearly as scary as it is on camera. See what I did? I focused in on the outside, and then what I'm going to have her do is I'm going to have her look up so I can get under her eye as well. Look up for me. We're siblings, so I'm allowed to do this.
Are you though?
Yes, I am.
When did
I could punch you in the face right now, and I promise as long as you hit me back, Mama would not care. Close your eyes. Okay, so basically that's just the base pink we're going to get, and then I'm actually going to take a little bit more and I'm going to focus it towards the middle of her eye, so close your eyes. And I'm going to put some more right here, some more emphasis on the pink. Because obviously I want the pink to be a little bit more vibrant out here in the outer corner than versus in the middle. Okay, and that's the finished product. Look at the camera. At the moment, this is our base of what we have so far, and then I'm going to do the other eye really quickly. Okay, so this is the finished product of both the sides, and then we're going to go in. I got a little smudge right here, but it's okay because we're going to blend it out when we do our second color. Next, we are going in with this hot pink color right here, which I use a lot because I love it. It's so pigmented, and it is a little bit intimidating, but I promise it's worth it. Alright, so for this one, we're going to be focusing more on the outer corner with the hot pink, and then we might go in and touch up a little bit of glitter highlight on the inner corners. So let's get into it. As I mentioned, you can already see how bright this color is. So we kind of rely on blending it a little bit, but we are also want it to be very bright and very pigmented because Velvette's just that kind of girl, you know? It's okay, we're not having our Jeffree Star moment. It's okay, it's gone.
Holy!
Yeah, I know, it's bright, ain't it? Alright, open your eyes and look up. You are doing spectacular, my Melissa. There you go. And now I'm going to be using the same color I used for white to blend it out just a little bit. And I promise, like I've said before, my methods might look a little bit unorthodox and they might look a little bit odd, but my makeup always eats, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So, trust my madness. See, open. Look at that. Look at how fucking beautiful that is. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
We as a society need to stop being afraid of pigmented eyeshadows because it's pissing me off. Okay, so here are both her eyes after the hot pink. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to go in with some glitters and then we're going to do some eyeliner. So for glitter, we're going to be using this shade, which I personally love. I love this pink because it can go on for some lighter days or for some full glam days like we're doing today. Okay, so personally, again, same thing I did with the highlighter. I'm going to be going in with my finger for this glitter, which, look at how pigmented that is. Look at how beautiful. Right, close your eyes for me. I'm going to be putting it on this eye. Look at that shimmer. I love this freaking eyeshadow. Look at how pretty that looks. Close your eyes and get a little closer. Close your eyes. Look at that shimmer. Look at how beautiful that is. Okay, now we're going to do the other eye. Okay, now for the inner corner of the eye, we're going to be using this glitter, and I also love this one. And I'll show you what it looks like on the one eye, and then I'll go ahead and put on the second eye, and then I will show you what it looks like altogether before we get to eyeliner. So again, I'm just going in with my finger, but I'm going to be using my middle finger this time because I use this finger for the glitter and you can still see it on, and I don't really want to like cross-contaminate. Even though I'm going to blend it together, I don't want it to have pink mixed into it while it's in my palette, if that makes sense. So let me just get some on my finger right here. Look at that beautiful shimmer. Close your eyes. And we're going to focus it on that inner corner and blend it this way. Look at that gorgeous shimmer. Look at how pretty that is. Okay, now I'm going to do it on the other eye. Okay, so here's it on both eyes. Close your eyes. Look at how pretty that is. Now, I know it doesn't necessarily look like much right now, but now we're going to do eyeliner, and you guys will see the difference after eyeliner and lashes are put on. So, for eyeliner, I'm going to be using this e.l.f. eyeliner pen. And it's not going to be anything too big. I'll show you me putting it on her one eye, and then I'll do it on the second to show you what it looks like. Really, we're just adding some emphasis on the outer corner, and I'm also going to be putting some on the inner corner with this online creamy eyeliner from She Glam. This is one of the like pencil kind of things. I love this thing, so we're going to be using this on her waterline and on the inner corner of her eyes to add some more definition and make it nice and sharp. So for her eyeliner, I'm actually going to have her close her eyes for me, and we're going to start very slowly on the outer corner. Okay, you guys can't see it easily, and we're going to just drag a line out, and I'm going to focus on her top lid first, then open your eyes. We're going to be focusing on the inner. Drag it out just a little bit more. And look at how pretty that looks on her. And then it's also going to make a difference when we have the eyeliner pen into it as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the second eye off camera, just to save some time. Now we're going to be using this pen on her waterline. Now she hates this part, so I'm going to try to make it quick. Look up. Stop messing with it. Look up. Thank you. Let me know when you need to blank. Alright, there we go. Easy as that. Look in the camera. Look at that little subtle difference, but it makes it just look so much better. Okay, now I'm going to go do her other eye. Alright, look at the camera. Look at that beautiful difference. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with the inner corners. Now, I am going to do this off camera because there's really no point in me doing it on camera since you guys are going to be able to see it anyway. So really, I'm just going to be going into the corner like this and just sort of dragging it out to make it sort of sharp looking. And then I will show you the finished product. I know I said that out of line, but it doesn't matter. Okay, I did her inner corners. It's not a very big change, but I feel like it really does make all the difference. Look at how much sharper and outlined her eyes look now. And then I'm going to be getting my lashes real quick and we will put them on. So these are the lashes I'm going to use. I know a few are missing, but I've had this palette for a hot minute now and some of them haven't even been used yet because you can say it's unhygienic. I reuse lashes because I don't have the money to be spending on constantly buying new lashes. The collection I have right now is what I built up over the past 6 years. So I think I have a small collection for me having it for 6 years. So anyway, I'm going to be using these lashes. I forget exactly where they're from, but I'm sure if you look up anime manga lashes, you will find them. Just spiky anime manga strip lashes, anything like that, you will definitely find them. So I'm going to be putting this eyelash glue on them. I got this from Sephora. It is the Duo eyelash glue. Some of the label has rub off, unfortunately. So that's all I can see of it right now, but I did get it at Sephora. It's very good. I love this. Unfortunately, I've kind of used it to death. You can tell by how messy and how used up it is. But I still love this eyelash glue, and we're going to put them on, and then I will show you me putting them on her lashes. Okay, after letting the lashes dry for 30 seconds, which is very important, we're going to put them on her eyelid. Now, it's a bit different when I put them on myself, but for her, I'm going to have her close her eyes for me. And I'm going to be very careful. I want to get them as close to her actual lash line as possible. I did just poke myself in the eye. Ignore it. Close your eye. Some people put them on with tweezers. I personally have always used my fingers because I think tweezers are a bit unnecessary and I think they're worse for me. Okay, you opened your eyes a little bit too early. I will fix that and then we will come right back. Okay, so now that we got it fixed, this is how our eyelashes look now. Look at the camera. Look up. Look down. I think I did a pretty decent job. You want to get a little closer for me? I think I did pretty good. Close your eyes. Look up. Look directly at the camera. I think they look pretty good. What do you think?
Tough.
Okay, now this is both of her lashes on. So next we are going to do her lips. I personally have a lip liner and a matte lipstick I'm going to use. And then I'm gonna go back in with the lip liner to do her little spikes. I accidentally started a little bit, but it's okay because I remembered. This is the Quibest lip liner. I love this one. Obviously, it's the black lip liner, as you can see. And we're just gonna go in, and we're going to follow her natural lip shape. And this is just to outline it because black lipstick can be a little bit scary if you're just going in raw. So I'm gonna outline her lips, and then I will show you the finished product once I'm done outlining. So here's the finished product of the outlining. I went over a little bit with her Cupid's bow because I noticed that with a lot of the Helliverse women, they tend to have the overlined Cupid's bow. They don't tend to have the sharp angled lips. You can notice it a lot if you look at specific clips of them, like smiling or anything like that. You will notice that a lot of them have it overlined or their lips are just naturally like that. Okay, now I'm going to be using my Quibest matte lipstick. Well, not lipstick. It's a matte lip. I don't really know how to describe it properly, but it is matte is the point. So I'm going to go in with this. It is pretty dark and it goes on really dark as well, so it's going to be a little bit scary. So I really need to focus with this, so I am going to do this off camera, but basically all I'm doing is that I'm just going in where we filled it in. Okay, so this is what her lips look like completely filled in. Now you want to turn to the side for me. Unfortunately, we put a little bit of black lipstick here on accident. I was adjusting her and I have it some on my fingers. So what we did is we just took her foundation and we layered a little bit on top of it. And we're letting it like set in before we blend it out. And then we're going to put setting powder on top of it and let it bake for a little bit and then blend that out to hopefully cover up the black lipstick. Now we're going to be doing Velvette's little spikes, so we're just going to go back in with the lip liner we have, and it's really not that hard. I started with just doing 2 lines, and then I sort of put a little bit more on to make it look a little bit more like coherent with her lips, if that makes sense. So really what I'm doing is I'm just doing a spike right here, and then we're going to blend it into her lip line a little bit more. Just like that. And that's her little spike. I'm just going to make it a little bit more even on this side. It's a little bit hard to see while trying to make sure you guys can see on camera while also doing it myself. And then for the bottom one is a little bit more tricky because you have to go down so far. We're going to be going like right here. And see that? And then obviously when you turn to the side, it goes down like really, really far. We're just going to do the same thing. We're going to focus on blending it into her lip. Just like that. And there you go. Those are your 2 little spikes. And Velvette's makeup is just about done. We just have to get her in her costume and her wig. And here is what the finished product of our little Velvette would look like. We lost the top, so we had to improvise last second. But close your eyes. Here's her makeup and her wig and top down from the outfit. This is our lovely little puppets. I will post the Vox video probably next week, but maybe in the next couple days as well. Depends on how quickly I can edit. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I hope at least some of you found this tutorial helpful. Bye! Wait, bye.
Bye.